Okay, would like to call to order the August 17th, 2020 Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners regular meeting. Welcome, everyone. It's good to have everybody participating tonight. As we have stated at our previous online meetings, there are several different ways that you can participate in the meeting, especially during the public comment section. We do not have any public hearings tonight, but if you would like to participate in the public comment section, you can email your name, address, and telephone number to publiccomment@cabarruscounty.us. Once again, that's publiccomment@cabarruscounty.us, or you can call 704-920-2023 and use the PIN number 1234 and let the moderator know that you would like to speak. So that's two different methods. I think you can also find that information on our webpage as well. First item on our agenda tonight is the approval and/or corrections of the minutes. You all have a copy of those before you. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for approval.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Shue, a second by Commissioner Kiger to approve the minutes. Is there any discussion?
And that counts adding on the item that we were going to add.
That would be under the agenda. We're just doing the minutes right now.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Vacation.
Great. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion passes. And we move now to the approval of the agenda. And we do have one item to add there, and that will be item G2, and that will be a discussion of behavioral insight study from Duke University. And I think Kasha Thompson will lead that discussion. So I would entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda, including the changes on page 44 and the addition of item G2, a discussion of the behavioral insight study.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Honeycutt, a second by Commissioner Shue. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And that motion passes. And we move now to recognitions and presentations. First up, item C1 from Active Living and Parks, Senior Centers Month Declaration. And we are delighted to have Myra Bumgarner with us to make that presentation. Welcome, Myra.
Thank you so much. This technology stuff, I'm a little nervous, so bear with me. Good to see everybody. Senior Center Month, September 2020. Senior Centers delivering vital connections. Whereas older adults make significant contributions to the community by sharing their experiences, skills, and knowledge to enhance the lives of others. And whereas Cabarrus County Senior Centers celebrate the contributions and affirm the dignity, self-worth, and independence of older adults in the community. And whereas Cabarrus County Senior Centers Advisory Council supports the programs and services provided via the senior centers that empower older adults' contributions to health and well-being. And whereas Cabarrus County Senior Centers serve as focal points for the provision of a wide variety of programs and service access, deliver vital connections for reducing social isolation and promoting physical and emotional health through opportunities to engage the mind, body, spirit, and community of older adults. Enable older adults to thrive in communities of their choice for as long as possible. And whereas Cabarrus County Senior Centers can provide opportunities to enrich the lives of individuals of all ages by promoting participation, wellness, and social involvement, providing access to home and community-based services that support independent living, ensuring community members can benefit from the experience and contributions of older adults. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim September 2020 as Senior Center Month. Thank you.
Thank you, Myra. We appreciate that presentation and certainly are all proud of what our senior centers do and what they mean to people in our community. At this time, I would entertain a motion that we adopt the proclamation for Senior Centers Month, September 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Honeycutt and a second by Commissioner Kiger. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And that motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
We move now to item C2, and this is from the Department of Human Services, and we are happy to have Paula Gillian with us to present the proclamation for August as Child Support Awareness Month. Welcome, Paula.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Paula Gilliland. I'm one of the Child Support Supervisors, and I'm filling in for Susan Dillon, who's a Child Support Manager. The Governor has proclaimed August as Child Support Awareness Month in the state of North Carolina, and we in Cabarrus County would also like to recognize it with the following proclamation. Whereas children are entitled to financial support from their parents, and Cabarrus County continues to improve its efforts at child support collections, and whereas in state fiscal year 2020, over $12.2 million in child support was collected from parents of children in Cabarrus County, and whereas there are nearly 5,800 active child support cases in Cabarrus County, working to ensure that approximately 5,900 children receive the financial support from their parents, and whereas children who do not receive adequate financial and emotional support from both parents may experience greater difficulty in becoming healthy, happy, and productive citizens, and whereas many concerned and dedicated judges, district attorneys, clerk of courts, sheriff's personnel, and child support professionals work to establish and enforce child support orders for Cabarrus County's children, one of our state's most vital resources. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners proclaim the month of August as Child Support Awareness Month in Cabarrus County. And we would like to thank each of you for your support, as well as the staff for the outstanding job that they do each and every day, our local sheriff's office, police departments, clerks of courts, judges, and the local attorneys for their collaborative efforts. We also want to thank the emergency management for their assistance with providing PPE for our DNA testing. We are pleased to have exceeded all of the state and federal goals last fiscal year, with the exception of one, which was missed by less than 1%. So I want to thank you for allowing me to be here and to recognize August as Child Support Awareness Month. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Paula. We appreciate you making that presentation and certainly appreciate what you and the entire staff at the Department of Human Services does for the children in Cabarrus County. Can think of nothing more important. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to adopt the proclamation declaring August 2020 as Child Support Awareness Month.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Honeycutt, a second by Commissioner Shue. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, no. And that motion passes unanimously. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, we move now to item C3 from the Sheriff's Office, and this is recognition of Storm on his retirement from the Cabarrus County Sheriff's Office as a K9 service dog. We have had several of these over the past year, and Commissioner Honeycutt put together a great prize or treat, not basket, but she actually had a dog bed filled with toys and treats for Storm. And we had an opportunity to spend a little bit of time with Storm and his many supporters, including his trainer and family, and a number of people from the Sheriff's Department came over as well. And so we all wore our mask except for Storm, and he didn't. I don't think he wore his, but and social distance, and he was quite enthusiastic about the gifts that he had received. And I think we have a short video with some pictures that we'll share right now.
Aw. You're in the camera.
Yeah, that was a fun. Did you have anything else you'd like to share, Commissioner Honeycutt, about the experience?
No, it's just always impressive to see the admiration and support and love that they have for those dogs, and the true partnership for sure. And I think we will definitely miss him, but I believe that he's going to go into retirement very happy from what I saw the other day.
Yes, he seemed to be very happy when we met with him. So thank you very much, and best wishes to Storm. His trainer also is retiring, so I'm sure they have some good times ahead. And so we'll move now to item C4, and this is from Soil and Water Conservation, Annual Conservation Contest winners. And we're glad to have Tammy Sue Rimsberg with us to make that presentation. And then I saw her arrive a little bit earlier.
Yes, I'm here.
There you are.
All right, I guess they have to turn my camera on. So good evening, everyone. Cabarrus Soil and Water Conservation District had a stellar year for our conservation contests and in-school education. I had over 7,000 contacts in our school's natural resource conservation classes and teacher professional development this past school year. Still not, let me try it one more time. Okay, that's all right. You don't need to see me. This year's theme was Wetlands Are Wonderful, and the students learned about the wetlands that we have right here in Cabarrus County, as well as others around the state. We had participation from Cabarrus County Schools, Kannapolis City Schools, Cannon School, Carolina International School, and homeschool students this year. In addition, we had 16 teams, which is an all-time high, who had worked hard to get ready for the Envirothon competition. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, this event was canceled. We had high school Envirothon teams from Cannon School, Cabarrus Early College High School, and Northwest Cabarrus. Our middle school teams were from C.C. Griffin, Winkler, and Mount Pleasant Middle. You have received a list of the contest winners and the Envirothon team members who all deserve our praise for their hard work this year. Also, our Cabarrus Soil and Water Conservation District Teacher of the Year, Ashley Miller from Mount Pleasant Middle School, will go on to compete in the state competition sometime in the future. They haven't determined that yet. And our contest for this next school year will probably be conducted virtually, depending on the health guidelines. But I've been working on that, as well as I have developed 38 standard-based conservation education lessons that are formatted to be presented virtually to students and classes for this school year. And our contest theme for this school year is "We All Live in a Watershed." And our staff would like to thank the commissioners for continuing the support for this very important piece of our county's education system. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Tammy, and thank you for the leadership that you provide that program. It's always a fun part of the year, something for us to look forward to when we get to see a lot of these young people that come in that have won some of these awards. So we certainly missed that this year, but thank you for that presentation, and thank you and congratulations to all those students who were contest winners as well.
Thank you.
And we did not have any action on that one. So we move now to D, which is informal public comments. As I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, there are several different methods for people to participate, and I will call on our clerk, Lauren Linker, at this time to give us a report on whether she has received any phone calls or emails or other notification from folks wishing to make public comments.
I have not received any written comments, and there is no one on the phone.
All righty, thank you. Okay, in that case, then we will move now to the consent agenda. As I always mention, items on our consent agenda, which is rather lengthy, about 19 items tonight, are items that we have discussed each in great detail at our work session meeting 2 weeks ago. Our meeting tonight is likely to be fairly short, but I think our meeting 2 weeks ago, where we did discuss all these items, was about 4.5 hours, if I remember correctly. So we have gone through all of those. So do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Kiger, a second from Commissioner Shue to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. And that motion passes unanimously. And we move now to new business. First item, G1, is a funding request from the Boys and Girls Club of Cabarrus County, and we are happy to have Rodney Harris to talk with us about that.
Good evening. So the county manager was approached last week about seeking financial assistance for the Boys and Girls Club, their in-school learning program. And so obviously with the Cabarrus County schools starting the school year today in Plan C, which is an all virtual environment, and then Kannapolis City Schools with a Plan B that involves a mix of in-person and virtual instruction. There is a significant need, especially for working parents, for an outlet for their children during the school hours and work hours. And so what they have asked for is a total of about $223,000. And that would be split between our contribution, which would come from the Coronavirus Relief Fund, and then the City of Concord would contribute for the other half. This would serve up to 400 youth in the community from, I believe it's 8:30 to about 6 o'clock. And they would be provided breakfast, lunch, snacks, and dinner. And then we would also have some access for county employee staff. Employees that might work in our human services or other agencies would be able to get their children enrolled in this program. So again, the motion being asked for tonight is to contribute that just under $112,000 to support this program, and that will primarily go towards the staffing and also the personal protective equipment required to keep things safe.
Right.
So Rodney,
Yes, ma'am.
is this a virtual program or are they going into the Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, this is an in-person, so they will have enough space to socially distance the children into smaller groups. So it will be on site.
And the mask and things that you're talking about are for the kids and
For the kids and the workers. And again, this is a little bit different because using Cabarrus County Schools as an example, they do have some synchronous learning that's occurring each day for the children. And so what's able to happen is the Boys and Girls Club will set those children up on their Chromebooks at their facility so that they can be in the class with their teachers every day.
I think
Rodney, can you clarify the request for Cabarrus County? What was the number?
Yeah, so the amount should be $111,875, and that is half of the total need. And again, the other half would come from the city of Concord.
And as I mentioned to a couple of you earlier today that had called, the Concord City Council approved their portion last Thursday evening.
And so
And
where
how
the,
long will- Go ahead, Diane.
I was just gonna say where the motion says the 223,750.
Yeah, that's to be,
Yeah, is that the
Yes,
total
that should-
coming out of the
that should-
Corona?
That's the total amount,
So
but
it
for
counts
our
our
contribution,
113 and Concord's.
yeah,
yeah, so you're only approving our portion.
correct.
The one
Yes.
below.
So really it should be 113,000 and what?
It should be $111,875.
Okay.
And our Economic Services Department, Human Services, Family Support Services, they are advertising this and marketing this program very well for the Boys and Girls Club. And I know that we do have some of our employees that are taking advantage who are having a hard time finding daycare. So some of our employees are eligible to take advantage of this program as well. So.
The only other thing I wanted to add is just in terms of the time frame that this will support is this is funding that will allow them to provide this from about August 17th, so today, through the end of the year. So it'll go through December 31st.
Okay, yeah, thank you. That was my question.
I would make a motion that we approve the funding in the amount that you noticed. The Boys and Girls Club does a phenomenal job. It says up to 400 youth. Today was the first day of school. It was quite hectic. Interesting how servers out of Raleigh should have been prepared and apparently were not. So everybody across the state was having trouble getting online today. But I think for the most part, things worked out pretty well for us locally. But the Boys and Girls Club is great. So I'm glad that they have come to us and asked for our help since we have these funds available.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Poole and a second from Commissioner Kiger. Is there additional discussion or questions for Rodney? Or I think it's important for folks watching to realize that we have these care funds that have come down from the federal government that we are required to spend for these types of purposes. Certainly, this is one that fulfills a great need, I think, for those parents who are fortunate enough to be able to go to work, and now their children, they have to make provisions for them to do the online learning, and the Boys and Girls Club is providing a great service by providing that program, as well as the nutrition piece of it. Which is a big issue for a lot of folks, and I think they have been doing that previously in some other ways as well. So that has been quite a big job for them in the midst of their looks like they're completing up their expansion construction of their facility at the same time. So my hat's off to them. They're doing an excellent job. Is there any other discussion? Or questions?
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No,
Okay.
I would just echo that Valerie Melton and her staff and their board up there that has been tremendous, the effort that they're putting together, and to be able to pull this together this quickly, like you said, while they're trying to finish up a construction project as well, is fantastic, and the service that they're providing to the community is just wonderful.
Yes, certainly agree. If there's no other discussion, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. And all opposed, no. That motion passes unanimously. And we move now to item G2, which is the one that we added regarding the behavioral insight study from Duke University. We're delighted to have Kasha Thompson to talk about that item.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for adding this to your agenda. We're going to go over a PowerPoint that you may or may not have had the opportunity to review yet. So we'll go through slowly and make sure you have all you need in order to make a decision. All right. Are you able to see the PowerPoint? Okay,
yes.
Thank you. Okay, so as you know, we are trying to manage our way through the pandemic and the social consequences of having different messages in the community. We are at a point where we're dealing with conflicting values at the moment, and we're trying to work hard to make sure all those values are addressed, including the liberties our community faces, their freedom, their choice, their opportunity, autonomy, their personal responsibility and self-sufficiency, and balancing that with the needs of community, which includes safety, belonging, family, neighborhood, tradition, security, and quality of life. So how do we go about doing that? We have certainly worked with the Cabarrus Health Alliance to develop campaigns, to develop videos, social media campaigns, press releases, stories to tell our community what COVID-19 looks like in Cabarrus County. From a policy standpoint, you have strategically aligned yourself with the rest of the state to eliminate conflicting messages and to stay on target and to work toward opening our businesses and getting to a point where we can function closely to how we had in the past. Those efforts have gone a long way, but there are still vulnerabilities that leave our community susceptible to contracting COVID-19 and leave us vulnerable to not opening as quickly as we would like to. So the presentation I'm going to share with you is a proposal from Duke University Center for Advanced Hindsight on using behavioral science, design, and evidence to help counties navigate COVID-19. As you know, behavioral insights are valuable. Here in Cabarrus County, we've worked with them well. We use behavioral insights to help us determine our county's values, family, faith, collaboration, and tradition. And when we rolled out our brand, we found that the community was invested in it because we knew what was important to our community. So how can we apply that toward a public health model? As we go through this, I want you to think about campaigns on the national level, including the seatbelt campaign, the Stop Smoking campaign, Say No to Drugs. These are all behavioral models that obviously have been around a long time and have had a lot of influence on many generations. We're trying to shorten that timeline, right? So how can we do that? We can develop a strategic approach that helps our specific community. This is a collaborative partnership. And if we know what we do well as a county, it is work within a collaborative model. It's been successful on a lot of levels. We were approached to be part of this project that began as a study with Durham and Guilford counties, and it's expanding now. NC State University College of Design was recently brought in when the counties decided it was going to be a priority to not only come up with an understanding of the research, but also a campaign model that could move forward. So the opportunity is to help counties develop interventions and public information campaigns to increase voluntary compliance with public health guidance. And, we've put messages out there in the public. We've all tried to exhibit good behaviors and model good behaviors and come up with emotional appeals to our community to work together. This model has worked, but there are still people we have not reached, and it could be because they are not as connected to the government. So how do we blend that local public health expertise, the knowledge and information and powers behind these great university systems into helping our community? The opportunity was presented to Cabarrus, Catawba, and Cleveland counties. Gaston, Guilford, and Lincoln have participated. The timeline, this is an example of the timeline. It would start in September and go through February. We have made it a priority that we work to expedite that timeline to get things moving before we get into phase 3, hopefully moving to phase 3 faster. As you can see, as I go through these different skills and outputs, it's an intensive effort that would help not only the county's communications team, but also our partners at the municipalities and the Health Alliance work together toward this common goal with a regional approach. As you can see, there are different outputs that will be met through this. Understanding COVID-19 sentiment and behavior, studying our population, studying our visitors who come to Cabarrus County. That's certainly an important part of our economic model. Do they know what our messages are and what their responsibilities are within the county or within the state? What are the stigmas around it? Knowledge, attitudes, and beliefs, and addressing those and coming up with important information, debunking myths, and providing factual-based information on how to move forward. And I think that's where a lot of this gets confusing. We've all seen the evidence models change. What we knew to be true at one point is evolving, and even the medicine around COVID-19 has lacked consistency. So as we learn more about COVID-19, we'll be able to move forward, but how do we debunk those myths that are popping up as medicine evolves? This is exploratory and field research. Those are boots on the ground, as they like to say in emergency management. Those are resources that we just don't have as a county. The support calls and meetings, which are always good to help stay on task and move forward, keep open communication and collaboration, and then working together in that virtual model. This is showing how Durham County has moved forward. They've had a targeted campaign around the bull, which is something that the community identifies with. They've gone out with businesses, printed flyers, which would be an added expense to this project, but we would get the campaign model and be able to implement that however we'd see fit. But this was a way for the business community to have a united front support system that they could help use to communicate. You know, when the businesses move forward with enforcing the state guidelines, the community understood. And you know, when you walk into Walmart, everyone is wearing their mask in some form or fashion, but we are moving forward because we're interested in putting business first while being respectful of the fact that our community is facing a pandemic. So they are looking forward to a partnership with us, and they are ready to move forward on this very quickly. We are looking at asking you for the consensus to move forward with the project, which has a cost of $15,000 for the total research and product delivery. We would need to add to that any printing of materials. We have great resources at the county to develop our own video and social media components. So I feel confident that that would come at a very minimal cost, if any. So we're very fortunate to have that. What we need to do is give Gaston County a heads up that we're ready to move on with the project and connect with our regional partners, sign the contracts, and get to work. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to address them as best I can at the moment. We presented this to the local elected officials this morning, and there seemed to be great interest in the project from the cities and the Health Alliance. And I'll defer to Mike and Commissioner
Sure.
Morris.
Yeah, I'll clarify that. Yeah, that's exactly what we are looking for is a consensus or some direction that this is something that you think is valuable and that we can, as we used on the previous project that we spoke about, we can use the CARES money for this as well. The meetings that Kasha talked about are bi-weekly meetings with all of the mayors and Chairman Morris, the city and county manager staff, as well as the communication staff from each of the jurisdictions. So we have those bi-weekly conversations for the last several months and have worked to trigger a unified response or on all of these things related to the pandemic. And this is another step forward where there was just general more than, it was overall consensus from the group that was on the call this morning that this would be valuable to all of the jurisdictions involved. And that's why we're bringing it to you so quickly so that we can get involved quickly if you desire, and of course, allow us to use 15,000 of those Corona's funds or the CARE funds to help fund this project.
I will add that that investment that we're talking about is total, and that covers all of our municipalities as well as the county. And does come from those funds that have already been designated for those purposes in various forms, like we did for the Boys and Girls Club. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
From what you're saying, all of the municipalities are interested in participating. This 15,000 covers us and them.
That is correct.
That's correct.
And the timeline that you showed, obviously, it went to February, and not stating the obvious, but we don't know what this is going to look like in February. So
Right.
I guess if we've got the flexibility to move and maneuver as we see fit, then I think that's the way to go. So I assume that's just a sort of a working timeline at the outset.
It is, and we are encouraging an expedited timeline. And I'd also add that the information we learned from this project, we could apply toward other campaigns moving forward and hopefully help eliminate this kind of lag in participation in, God forbid, future public health pandemics.
Right. And also, I think it's important to note that not every county in the state has had the opportunity to participate in this. So we're fortunate to be one of the, I think, 6 counties and maybe a couple of municipalities and some other organizations that have been included in or invited to participate in the study.
Yes, as I understand, it was based on our population breakdown, the demographics of Cabarrus County.
Great. So any other questions or comments? Well, as we said, we were trying to get consensus on this. I think if someone would like to make a motion to approve this expenditure, for the record, that might be the cleanest way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion. Anything got something to do with Duke, I like.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion from Commissioner Shue, second from Commissioner Honeycutt. Is there further discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. And that motion passes unanimously. Thank you. We look forward to having some good results from this study, and we feel like it can be of benefit to all our citizens and most specifically our business community, so which we're anxious to get them back on their feet. And so we move now to, you have various reports that are included in your agenda as usual. And we will move now to general comments from board members. And so I will open the floor to anybody that has anything they would like to report on.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if most of y'all might have seen it in yesterday's paper. You know, I'm a member or the liaison to the formerly Central Iowa Council of Government, but you know, they did a name change and a branding at our last August the 12th meeting that we had. But been working on it for quite some time, but it's now called the Central Iowa Regional Council. And as you know, they service a 9-county area in the Charlotte Metrolina area. And, you know, I think that we're fortunate to be a part of that organization, but it does have a new name and a new brand. I don't know if you can see this, but this is the article that was in Sunday's paper. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, if you take that paper, you could look at it. It'll go into a lot more detail than we have time to do here, but I just wanted to update you on that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, anything else? That I did sort of skip over our updates from members who serve as liaisons to municipalities or on various boards and committees, but we include all that together tonight. So does anybody else have anything?
I do. I just want to say again to all the parents and students out there in both Kannapolis City Schools that is doing some virtual and some face-to-face, and Cabarrus County Schools that's 100% virtual. It was an interesting day. It will be an interesting week. One of the best things I saw online was all the work was not preparing for the entire school year. It was preparing for today. We'll learn from any mistakes and we'll be ready for tomorrow. So all the teachers have been working really hard, learning new software, new platforms, students likewise. I do not envy elementary school parents and students with them being on Chromebooks all day long. We have quite intensive schedules at all the levels, elementary, middle, and high school. But I just want to give a shout out to everybody in Cabarrus County that's been, that went back to school today, whether it was face-to-face or virtual. It's not the easiest thing to do. And thank you to Boys and Girls Club and everybody else that's providing assistance for the parents so that they can go to work, and for the students so they can continue their education. So I just want to, I think it's very important for us to acknowledge that today.
Great, thank you. We certainly appreciate everything all of our teachers and students are doing and the challenges that they face. And we hope that it goes well and we return to normal soon. Any other comments? Okay, we do not have need of a closed session tonight. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Some second.
Okay, motion to adjourn by Commissioner Shue, second by Commissioner Honeycutt. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And we now stand adjourned. We'd like to thank our TV audience and others participating on our virtual online meeting for joining us tonight. And our next meeting, which will be our work session, will be, I was going to give the correct date, will be September the 8th at 4 p.m. So thank you all and hope you have a great week.
Great. Thank you.